You're watching Local News 8 at 6. Local people, local news.
What an overwhelming day. Express how hard this journey has been and the hundreds of people that's been affected by one person's choice. My daughter's life.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. That was Carol Dodge. Just a few hours ago, police named a suspect, Brian Lee Dripps. The 53-year-old call man has now been linked to the 1996 cold case murder of Angie Dodge in Idaho Falls. Idaho Falls Police Chief Bryce Johnson said Dripps was arrested yesterday after DNA evidence from him was matched directly to the scene of the murder. This is new technology that was used to track down the suspect. In attendance today were Angie Dodge's mother and brother, Carol and Brent. And joining us now live is Carol Honus, who is there also. Carol.
Furious, because who would do that to somebody's personal property? You know, it was malicious, vicious. It's horrible.
When you go on vacation, you probably expect to come home to seeing things just the way they were. But one Pocatello woman had quite the surprise when she returned from a Utah ski trip in April. Local News 8 reporter Max Cohan is live outside her house with more.
Jay, Lorraine Bowen owns this house on Jane Street, and when she did return in April from that ski trip, she found the house in ruins with vandalism damages surpassing $50,000, and her family says the culprits live right next door.
You're watching Local News 8 at 5. Local people, local news.
So I believe it was this morning the charges were filed. As we speak right now, both Detective Jessica Marley and Detective John in Boise serving that warrant on our suspect, and the process will roll forward as it's designed to do.
Good evening, everyone. The Bonneville County Prosecutor's Office filed charges for the murder of Idaho Falls resident Stephanie Eldridge. This case stems all the way back to 2007 when she was discovered missing, and then her body wasn't found until 2010. Local News 8 reporter Tristan Lewis joining us outside the police department in Idaho Falls to fill us in with our top story tonight. Tristan.
I woke up at midnight and there was all these lights flashing in my bedroom window. So I looked out and there was a police car parked here all night and a police car parked up on McKinley all night. And I knew something was wrong.
In our other murder case, people living in one Pocatello neighborhood talking about how afraid they are after an 87-year-old woman was brutally murdered in her home just down the street. Two teenage boys, aged 17 and 18, have been arrested in California, and they have been charged with first-degree murder in the stabbing death of 87-year-old Arlene Kohler. She was killed at a house on McKinley Avenue in Pocatello. People living nearby are frightened. I mean, this is a brutal killing. We don't get these around our area. Local News 8's Linda Larson talked to one neighbor who came closer to the alleged killers than she ever knew.
You're watching at 5. Local people, local news.
Oh la 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 la. Oh putain la vache.
Such a tragic day in Paris and for everybody around the world. Flames have ripped through the historic Notre Dame Cathedral. Good evening, everyone. Social media reports of the fire spread quickly as huge crowds of people watched in just total shock.
Officials say around 400 firefighters are there now. Kristen Holmes has the latest.
Know that you are out there somewhere, Tim, and we will never stop looking for you, praying for you, and loving you.
Hope in the face of heartbreak. The family of Timothy Pitson say they will continue to search for him. And the man who identified himself as the boy who had disappeared from Illinois in 2011 is now facing federal criminal charges. Police say 23-year-old Brian Michael Rinney showed up in Kentucky on Wednesday claiming he was that missing boy. Yesterday, the FBI revealed that DNA testing proved Rinney was an imposter.
They warned him that lying to a federal agent is a violation of federal law. Nevertheless, he again repeated that he was Timothy Pitson.
According to court records, the Ohio native was released from prison last month after serving time for burglary and vandalism. His brother hasn't spoke to him for years, but he does describe him as having had a troubled past.
in and out of jail a lot while we were kids, just getting into random little bouts of trouble, fights at home. He was placed on juvenile probation, and then he just continuously violated his probation. He has Asperger's syndrome and he has bipolar disorder, but still he should have the rational thinking to not do something like this.
In a news conference, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Ohio said that Rennie learned about the missing boy on television years ago.
And look forward to working with the other principals in the area.
Bonneville High School has a new principal. Assistant Principal Levi Owen's going to take over for Principal Heath Jackson. Owen graduated from Brigham Young University, Idaho with a degree in English education. He's been the assistant principal at Bonneville for the last 6 years.
I'm excited about the opportunity to engage parents at a deeper level potentially in their involvement in the school and helping their kids receive the education that they need.
Jackson has been the principal at the high school since 2013, and he'll be starting a new position with the school district as the Director of Human Resources, and that begins on July 1st.
You're watching Local News 8 at 5. Local people, local news.
If you can't protect the earth, you can be damn sure we'll avenge you. Whatever it takes.
Hey, in case you haven't heard, a little film called Avengers Endgame flying into theaters tonight. That film is expected to break all box office records.
Joining us live in downtown Idaho Falls is Local News 8 reporter Tristan Lewis, who shows us a little taste of what we can expect at the theaters this weekend. How's it going there, Tristan?
And as you're traveling, maybe taking a bathroom break will be a part of your trip. It always is mine. Gas Buddy actually did some research on where the cleanest gas station restrooms are around the country. Utah-based Maverick flushed the competition by claiming the top spot in 6 states, including Idaho. And then Texas-based Buc-ee's got the top spot with the highest rated gas station restrooms in the nation. According to Gas Buddy, gas station restroom cleanliness ratings have improved 6% since 2017. Now, we asked you to sound off a little bit, your opinions on Facebook, and here's what some of you had to say. Lacey JK says, I don't believe some Mavericks here in Idaho Falls have the cleanest, but the new one at Sunnyside and Yellowstone sure is nice. And here's one from Sherry Whiting Farr, who says, obviously they haven't been to Ike's 66 in DuBois. We take the cake in clean bathrooms. As a matter of fact, there's a rumor in the newsroom that the DuBois restroom is one of the nicest around. So apparently that's a stop for our people.
You know, I
Have you been there?
had the occasion to visit there when I was covering a fire last summer in the DuBois area. And
I'm telling you, that makes a difference.
I would agree with that.
And I wouldn't go back to one that was bad. I'd avoid it, yeah.
Well,